Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. We have some breaking news. A massive middleweight fight added to UFC 286 in London, March 18th, 2023. We are getting Marvin Vettori versus Roman Dolidze. And this video is going to be my reaction to the announcement as well as an early prediction for this fight. And this is an amazing middleweight matchup. And talk about a crazy turn of events. Roman Dolidze, in the span of 2 weeks, goes from being unranked to now fighting on one of the biggest cards of 2023, at least it looks like. The main event of UFC 286 is most likely going to be Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman 3, regardless of those fake reports of Kamaru Usman's injury. But now Roman Dolidze goes from unranked to fighting on one of the biggest cards of the year of 2023 against the number 4 ranked middleweight in the world. That is craziness in the span of 2 weeks. Because Roman Dolidze is currently sitting at number 8. Marvin Vettori is currently sitting at number 4. And Roman Dolidze, I was thinking about it. I was looking back at his resume. He has a slight argument for Fighter of the Year 2022. As crazy as that sounds, to go on a 3-fight win streak, a 3 KO streak, ending with a short notice win over Jack Hermansson. He just fought at UFC Orlando December 3rd against Jack Hermansson. Jack Hermansson was originally supposed to fight Derek Brunson. Derek Brunson pulls out. Roman Dolidze steps in, loses the first round, was losing the second round, wasn't dominant or anything, it was still competitive. Jack Hermansson takes him down. He reverses, ends up in a calf slicer, and then finishes Jack Hermansson brutally, has him completely flattened out, just can't move at all, finishes him with ground and pound. What a win for Roman Dolidze. Talk about taking advantage of a short notice opportunity. And now he's getting number 4 Marvin Vettori. And then you add to that, at UFC 281, Israel Adesanya was dethroned by Alex Pereira. I know there's going to be a rematch, but the division is kind of wide open right now. If Pereira is able to keep that belt, the winner of Marvin Vettori versus Roman Dolidze is in a good spot in the division. And regardless of the result of Adesanya versus Pereira 2, Dolidze is in position for a title shot very, very soon because he's never fought Israel Adesanya and he's never fought Alex Pereira. So let's say he goes out there, and this would be absolute insanity. Let's say he goes out there and puts on an impressive performance against Marvin Vettori and finishes Marvin Vettori. I mean, he's got to be right up there in a discussion of 1 or 2 guys. If Alex Pereira is still the champion, maybe Robert Whittaker, of guys in line for the title. And if Israel Adesanya earns his belt back against Alex Pereira in the rematch, Roman Dolidze is probably a no-brainer. He's probably getting the next title shot. So think about that. Think about that for a second. If Adesanya wins his belt back, they'll probably be fighting, I would say, in the first 5 months of 2023. Let's say Adesanya, for hypothetical point of view, let's say Adesanya wins his belt back from Pereira. Roman Dolidze stops Marvin Vettori or just beats Marvin Vettori via decision. Roman Dolidze is your number 1 contender in the middleweight division, from unranked to potentially fighting for the belt in 6 months. And I mean, he has a KO win over Phil Hawes. Doesn't mean a whole lot. Phil Hawes, kind of, a lot of people hyped him up a little bit as a contender. Hasn't done that great. KO'd Kyle Dawkins. What does that really mean? The Dawkins brothers are just getting KO'd left and right. So not the greatest of win streaks, but you top that win streak off with Jack Hermansson and Marvin Vettori. You're a number 1 contender in the division. For Marvin Vettori, he's coming into this fight on a 1-fight losing streak against Robert Whittaker. He fought Robert Whittaker September of this year. Just got outclassed in this fight, lost via decision. It went exactly how I expected it to go, and a lot of people expected it to go. Robert Whittaker is just too good. And Marvin Vettori, he's not great anywhere, but he's very good everywhere. His skill set is, he's not like the elite striker that Israel Adesanya is. He's not the elite wrestler that, some of these other guys are. He's not really elite in one facet. He's just a very well-rounded fighter. And now he's fighting Roman Dolidze, who is surging within the middleweight division. And, I get it. Marvin Vettori's lost, just coming off a loss to Robert Whittaker, so he can't make a lot of demands. But there's a lot of fighters who may have turned this down. And I guess Marvin Vettori wants to fight in the UK. He wants to fight at UFC 286. Who else is he going to fight that he hasn't really fought already, He's already fought Israel Adesanya. Obviously, Israel Adesanya is going to be fighting Pereira. He just fought Whittaker. He hasn't fought Jared Cannonier before, but Jared Cannonier is fighting against Strickland coming up. He's already fought, Paulo Costa. He's already fought. Has he fought Derek Brunson? I don't think he's ever fought Derek Brunson. He hasn't fought Derek Brunson, but Derek Brunson's injured right now. So there's not a whole lot of options. He's fought Jack Hermansson. And for Marvin Vettori, this is a smart move because there's a lot of people who says, oh, this guy's ranked way behind me. I'm not fighting him. But in this instance, Dolidze is on a massive win streak, and he's garnering some attention, and he's looked like an absolute killer. So if Marvin Vettori can send him back, and then Pereira is able to defeat Adesanya a second time in MMA, Marvin Vettori will be in a very good position within the middleweight division. And when I look at this fight, honestly, when I initially hear an announcement, I get like an idea of who I'm picking in my mind. This is actually a tough fight to pick. You know, initially my brain immediately went, oh, Marvin Vettori. Roman Dolidze really hasn't fought the elite of the elite. You know, Jack Hermansson's kind of that like top 10 gatekeeper type. And Roman Dolidze, you know, defeated him, but he was losing up until he ended up getting the finish. But he didn't look terrible in that fight, but he's on this massive streak. It's hard to kind of doubt Roman Dolidze. So for my early prediction, I am going with Marvin Vettori, probably via decision. Marvin Vettori's not some great finisher. Roman Dolidze's never been finished. Marvin Vettori's never been finished. He's only lost by decision. So I see this fight going to decision. But it's hard not to, you know, pick Roman Dolidze. Honestly, the fact that he's gone on this massive finishing streak, the fact that his jiu-jitsu looked really good against Jack Hermansson, his sweeps and his reversals looked really good against Jack Hermansson. He has nasty power. He's willing to go for it, you know, in the striking to look for a finish. And I could really see a massive upset. I think Marvin Vettori should be the guy most people pick just because he's fought the elite of the elite. He's been around forever. He hasn't really been finished by anyone. But Roman Dolidze, it's hard to doubt him. There's some of those fighters where they just keep winning and keep winning and keep winning. And at some point they get a, you know, very tough stylistic matchup, and it's hard to pick against them. And that's kind of where Roman is at this point in time. One interesting thing I really thought was very interesting about this fight is Roman Dolidze, I believe, trains the majority at Extreme Couture. Well, Sean Strickland recently said in an interview that Marvin Vettori is moving to Extreme Couture. So I'm wondering what's going on there with the gym dynamics, if both Roman and Marvin are going to be training at Extreme Couture. How are they going to do that? But for me, you know, that's just a side note to this whole story. I'm wondering maybe Marvin Vettori will stay wherever he is for the time being and then come to Extreme Couture after he fights Roman Dolidze in March at UFC 286. But this is a very compelling middleweight contender fight. This has massive implications in the division. And you have Roman Dolidze getting the biggest test of his UFC career. And to go from unranked to fighting number 4, he really took full advantage of that opportunity to step in for Derek Brunson against Jack Hermansson. And now he's getting a massive fight against Marvin Vettori. And this is going to be on the main card of one of the biggest cards of 2023. Kamaru Usman, Leon Edwards 3 for the welterweight title. It's going to be a massive card. It's going to be a pay-per-view in the UK, in the O2 Arena. And what an opportunity. If Roman Dolidze, by some chance, goes out there and finishes Marvin Vettori, I'm telling you guys, he is a number 1 contender, regardless of how the division plays out. He's going to be the number 1 contender in the middleweight division. That's going to be straight up insanity. To go from December, unranked, to March, fighting for a middleweight title in the near future. I mean, that's straight up insanity. But my official early prediction, I'm leaning Marvin Vettori via decision. But I may change my mind. I'll do a full breakdown and prediction of this fight as we get closer to the UFC 286. But let me know what you guys think about this fight down in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, and thank you so much for watching.